happy Friday. I'm really excited that we're able to have some technical difficulties. But welcome to another episode of Mavens of Manufacturing, the live broadcast here where people getting on the top floor, audience and PC, where 70 standards in engineering and manufacturing. I wanted to double check with Alicia the studio having a hard time hearing my voice, so if that is the same from our VCs, drop a comment and hopefully you can make a question for the show, but if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. And I'm really excited because we have Alicia here, better known as Ellie B on LinkedIn. So welcome, Ellie. Thank you for joining me on Meetings today. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm good.
How
How
are
are
you?
you?
I'm doing fantastic. I've been looking forward to this conversation for so long. Because, you and I have actually become like good friends over the last month. I remember Tim Milburn was doing I was like, you need to check this girl out. And I reached out to you and you commented back and agreed to have a conversation with me. And I've learned so much from you through your poetry, through our conversation. So I'm really excited to have you here. One of the things that I want to mention is you actually have over 30,000 followers on LinkedIn, which is amazing to me. And you're a woman in engineering, and you don't see a lot of women who have such huge followings who are in this sector. So that's great news for us. So to start off that conversation, can you just tell us who you are? And while we do that, I'm going to put up some comments to get other people tuning in today that I'm saying as well. So
Sure.
who is LED and how did you get involved with family sector?
Sure. So I guess I want to make sure that you can hear me. So does
But
this sound
I
good? Because like I barely understood like your feed, so hopefully people can hear it. But I understood what you asked me, and so like how did I get here and who am I? And yes, we've become friends over the last couple months, but uh it's because like of the like mission that we have. Like we both had this like mission anyway, and then we found each other, and like that's kind of why like we're doing, I guess, all the things we're doing. But I I wanted to be an engineer, or I thought that that's what I wanted because I was good at math and science. Maybe like fourth grade onward, it was just like good. Um, Sorry, I get distracted by the messages that are there. I won't read them anymore. Okay, so I liked math and science, and there was a like back when I was in high school, so that was like 2002 to like 2006. There was actually a pretty big STEM push, like just in general, not necessarily towards women, but there was just like all the kids learn about STEM, and so that definitely helped, I think, because I saw like some STEM programs. I remember I like got to go into like one of these STEM things where this was before high school, and they let us like dissect like a sheep's brain. It was really weird. But it was like biology. It was like a biology like class. So there was like all different science projects that they like had and were available. But anyway, I got really interested in biology, and then found computer science like in high school. And so I did take like an AP like computer science class. Just it was like all online and like graded online and everything, but all you were doing was like learning programming, learning HTML and Java. And I did that, and I guess I decided engineering was like a good idea. And so I went for it, and I had no idea what engineering really was. And I learned that once like I actually got into engineering, that like even when I was in college, I wasn't really sure what this was really going to be like. I just never wanted to like do anything else.
yeah,
After I found it, and after I started doing it, I never wanted to do anything else. And then I found like while I was working, because I did not start in any kind of electrical type of work. So I do a lot of like electrical and automation type work now in manufacturing, but I started as a process engineer who was more like the like flow behind that. So I would buy equipment or size equipment, and that's kind of the engineering that I was taught in school, is the engineering of like sizing process equipment for a manufacturing plant. That usually is like moving either fluids or bulk solids with some means different from like making parts, right? Discrete
Yeah.
manufacturing, where it's a lot more on off and a lot less like PID loops and this like just like controlling the analog signals with analog, with more analog stuff instead of like your thermostat measures temperature and then just turns on and off like your AC. Um, we're talking about like control. Like imagine you were controlling like how much like AC was actually blowing out, like not just turning on the AC full blast, but actually like modulating that. Like that is like more of like the process control stuff that we get into. But anyway, I did that engineering, and then I found a systems integrator, and I didn't know what that was, but I was looking for a job, and they were looking for kids right out of school that didn't have any experience. So they were willing to just teach you like what like controls engineering is. And if you weren't an engineer, they were still taking those kids. They would take kids out of the Navy. They do really well. Navy kids, like Navy sub kids, like those guys know stuff. And they just can like figure out control systems really well. But anyway, you don't have to have an engineering degree. They took both, and they have different titles. Like they called the controls engineers, or no, industrial automation engineer, and then the other one is control system specialist. And like they do the same work. They just, one has an engineering degree and the other one doesn't, but like they're both doing the same programming, the same HMI screens, the same kind of software work, lots of software work. When you work with integrators, like that's the thing that I caution about, is that like you're going to get really good experience in multiple types of projects, but you get less hands-on depending on the size of the integrator, and you may do a lot more software and less hands-on, and you will need both like in your career.
Yeah.
So, just like that's my only caution is like, and maybe you love the programming and you don't want to go touch stuff, and that's great. Then you won't have to. But part of what I think is the big sell with this job is both. Like, because if you can't like transition from the data into the field device and kind of follow that information all the way through, then you're missing out. Because it's really cool to be able to kind of troubleshoot something all the way from the physical realm to like where the data is being stored for that same device. And
So I
sorry.
want to dive. I want to dive back to some things that you mentioned. So when you got into high school, you said that there was a place done, which I think is interesting to hear because I've heard from other people that when they got into high school, they had some opportunities available to them, but they weren't pushed in either direction that they had to, of what courses to pick. So is that something similar, or should they start out with the younger students, here's everything, try a little bit of everything? Because when I was in seventh grade, we didn't have a choice. They made us try a little bit of everything. In the eighth grade, we had a choice. So what I think should happen, my personal opinion, I think if you want to start bringing back the training, you need to start kids at a younger age, and you need to make it part of the regular curriculum, and not give kids a choice so much, but like kind of incorporate them into what they're learning, so that as they go through their school career, they're getting more and more information, and then by the time they hit high school, then say, okay, let's track doing good one. Not everybody's going to
Sure.
be
No,
there's
and along those lines, like I think the people I've seen that like are doing this the way that we need to be doing it is Germany. They have internships, they have apprenticeships for high school students. So by the time they're done with an apprenticeship and they're done with their 4-year degree, they have like 8 years of, engineering experience, versus our engineers who have diddly squat when we graduate, unless you did an internship, and like that's very limited, and it. Like like internships are good. We should all get them as much as we can, but there's only so much that they can show you in an internship. And they're not going to throw an intern normally, unless it's an amazing internship. They're not just going to throw you a process and let you run with it. And that's where you learn absolutely the most. So getting these like apprenticeships way younger. And I've now started seeing, like, I know in Tennessee, they're doing this, where they're like starting to show people in high school, like these, and giving the opportunity for these kids to do like apprenticeships. And I know Canada's like definitely doing it. And we need to like step up and get, and then to also back off of that attitude of, everyone has to get a 4-year degree or you're a loser. That's insane. Like, I don't know where it came from. Like, I don't know why that was a thing. And it was like, oh, you're not going to get a degree. Like, you're not going to get a 4-year degree. And that like messed up a lot of people. And then a lot of people went and got in debt to get degrees they didn't need. And really, like, now we're all messed up, and now we're trying to fix it. Be like, just kidding. We actually really need you all in the trades. Like, we actually really need if you're good with your hands, like, you're going to make really good money in the trades. And there isn't any reason people should be either saying anything about your worth in society based off of not having a 4-year degree, because that's nuts.
Well, it's just doing with like tech school too. Like, if you decided to go to a tech school, people would be like, oh, really? Why are you doing that?
That's a great path, and it's less expensive than a 4-year degree, and you're going to get paid. Actually, starting off, like, you're going to get paid more for a while before, like, the other kids can, like, catch up, because they have to have, like, way more experience to start getting. It's like the pay doesn't even out, like, right in the beginning. Like, when you're done with trades, you're going to be making more money than the 4-year college kids were making.
My daughter and I went to a robotics competition a couple of weeks ago before it was COVID, and it was fun. Like, you were able to see like the whole process of what the kids had to do in order to actually compete in an underwater robotics competition. And Piggy, I don't remember her last name, but I'm hoping to have her really get into it. But she has been working with kids and teaching kids, telling them not to be nerds, and she really wants to go to college. But she's like, she should not do that at all. So she actually told me now that she's like, you're going to go to a tech school and follow your nursing path, because you actually get more hands-on experience, and you'll complete your degree faster, and you'll get a job faster. And then I was like, you know what, I'm trying to get away from my mom and go to college. So she's still going to college. It's okay, but I wish you would consider the tech part of it. Nikki said two opportunities are coming in college with PhD and category, and then Aaron Allen. So how did your journey end up leading you to where you are today? You just started recently your own business, process and controls engineering, and I wanted to know like what was going on in the sector where you thought, I can do this on my own, and I'm gonna pursue this properly. What motivated you to be a business?
So even before like the Great Resignation, back in 2015, when I was hired with a whole bunch of other kids right out of college, and those Navy kids, to like start training controls people, because they understood even then that they're all retired and they're all on their way to retire. Well, they all retired. They're all gone now. So there were a giant chunk of our programming force, all the guys. Like, there's a lot of people that have retired that knew all this stuff that I'm trying to like show people. And that's the other sad part, is that like like everything behind me, right? Like, I use it because I know it gets people's attention, and people are like, oh, what is that? Like, and there's so much like us protect, because there's hundreds of thousands of people, like technicians and engineers, playing with some of the coolest technologies, and they can't take pictures of anything. So when they see the stuff behind me, it like reminds them of all of this stuff that they like are using and are, I guess it draws this like community together, because they're all over the world. We're using all the same automation technology to do the same stuff. Like we're manufacturing in the same ways. And of course there's like, some places where it's more advanced, but we're using the same technologies. We can share like on this platform, like the language of automation. That's its own language. Like we can show
Yeah.
each other like, no, click here, and they're gonna get it, and you're not even speaking their language, because you don't need to. They know how to read like the code. It's just so cool that you can have this entire thing you can share with the whole world. I went on a tangent because like, what was the original question? Oh, what did I see? So in 2015, I saw that like, but I didn't know for sure. I mean, I just heard they were like, oh, everyone's retiring, and like,
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, the market is amazing in terms of opportunities, like, and then people need help. Like there's so much work to do, and everybody's hiring, and everybody is expanding, and everybody who's an integrator is like, oh, now we're hiring, because there really is that much work, and there really isn't the the American workforce. We don't have it. We don't have the American workforce to do what we're doing. Like, so that's why I decided to go jump in this, because I can, yes, do this for myself, but there's also like a wave of us, like small, there's lots of us where we're just one person integrator or a couple people, and we're small, and some of us like could combine forces. Some of us, we're all on our own little network, and we call each other. We're like, oh, I got a job that like maybe I'm doing in Memphis. Like, what are you doing? And like, we move around, like, I don't know who's gonna do what type of stuff. And that's a really neat thing to be in. And it's only possible because right now, like, you can, with the networking that's like available, like, you really can, there's so much work for all of us. That's what James Dean always said. He's just like, there's so much work for all of us. And like, even when we're competitors, like, we can work together. And so there's just a lot of that. And I'm super excited just being in this. And when I did come in, I was looking for women, and I didn't find many. I have found more pop up. And I mean women who started engineering businesses, because I knew men who had done this, where they're like, okay, I do controls, I'm going to do my own LLC. And so I knew one of my bosses was like that. So I knew like that's something that people did, but I didn't see women doing it. And I also didn't see women putting any hardware online, because lots of people have their labs behind them, like Vlad. This is just inspired by Vlad's lab, but mine is the Siemens version, because his is all Allen Bradley. So I just decided to do my wall. But like, there's a reason why you're supposed to have like hardware if you're going to teach people automation, and that's because that's like the only way you learn it. You can study that programming, and you can do videos and videos and videos, and until you're playing with your hardware, your PLC, your real drives, your real HMIs, and you're struggling with the real like disconnect between the software and the hardware that actually exists, because nothing is open source in this stuff yet, then you will understand like the real struggle, and you'll be like really good. But until then, like, it's not like this stuff is cheap to get. So you have to like figure out like how you're going to get your hands on this hardware. But you need to like, that should be a priority as someone who wants to learn automation, is to either they're going to go get training, hands-on training somewhere, some kind of hands-on training, or they find a job where they can train on their job, or they can start, like, if you already have some of this stuff in your job, talk to your supervisor and say like, why don't we have a little test bench for our stuff, so we can teach each other what we need to do on, as people come in and out, and like, there's basic tasks that need to be done, and like the best way to learn this stuff is like on the hardware, and you don't want it on your live system. So these people have spares, like maintenance teams have spare everything, so they can be using some of these spares. Maybe things were replaced, like there. It doesn't mean you have to go buy it, but you need to be like thinking about getting your hands on hardware either at your job or at home or both. For this
The
type of
one thing, the one thing too that I like, you are invited me into your group with the Omni thing. Ladies group before you, and you can start it on your podcast. You started it like that on like doing this like 30 and 40 few other women who are on the same page with you, and it's great to see. And I don't talk much in those groups, but I pay attention and enjoy the conversation. And it's great to see each and every one of you uplifting each other up and sharing your experiences with the different components that you're working with and talking stuff. And I think that's what we need more of, and that's one of the reasons why I like LinkedIn so much, because you're able to connect with other women. And when you look at the
getting really
businesses
good
that it's,
support from the men though. The men in
yeah,
this sector, like the automation, like Tim Wilborn, like there's so many guys like in the
Mary,
automation
yeah,
space that are super supportive of like automation ladies and me and just like any women doing this stuff. And they, they reach out and like, so it's actually like, I guess should encourage like girls that like we're not coming up here and just being like shut down and just be like, oh, we don't want anything to do with you. Like that's not happening at
yeah.
all. That's
But
not happening at all.
it's just great to see more and more women get comfortable in this space. And that's what we need. And I talked to a few high school girls who were intimidated knowing the fact that it was being dominated. And what's going to stay being dominated if you don't come join the sector? So come join the sector, you're going to have fun. It's not, as bad as, it might have been 10, 15 years ago. And then you'll get a kind of support even from the men that are involved in the sector. Yeah, you'll get that people, but like anyone. But there are a lot of people out there that are in support with dreams and people that would guide and mentor to a journey. So I really just enjoy everything that you do and all the pictures. Because even with the pictures that you have already like signed up and everything, I was like, how does people doing everything you do all of that? But Dr. that's why I follow you. Nikki said you're going to be on your time. Yes, you are. And then Julio, it's nice to see you being involved in the field. I think you know. What do you think? I think that's a good segue in the next question. What do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions about what you do? And in your personal opinion, why do you think women aren't coming into like career pathways involving PhD programming and robotics?
So I know why, and there's this, and this is not just women, but like women are more afraid of it. There's like, as you become whatever you're going to become, and if it's going to be a technician, whatever kind of technician you're going to be an electrician, you're going to start not being that, right? You're not born any of these things. Engineer, you're not born like, and you already know how to do it all. So you're going to start learning because you want to. And then there comes a time in your experienced life that you like something clicks and you finally have like this confidence that you've never had before. And this happens to everybody because they're like, you get thrown so many things, and some of it you fail and some of it you make, and over time, if you don't run away and you don't quit, and you just like stick with it, you're going to get so good accidentally. You're not even going to try. You're going to get so good at like what you do because you see every problem, and every day you're like, ah, and then you find something and you solve it. And there's another one. You're like, what the hell is that? And it's just like, if you don't run away from that and you're okay with that, you're going to one day click. And everyone does this, and like, and maybe you haven't done that yet, so you don't know. And that, I think, would be my biggest like thing that nobody knows, men or women, that is coming, because we don't know. We're like, I wonder what it's like to be an engineer. I wonder what it's like to be, a freaking astronaut. Well, like, there's people that like are confident in their astronaut skills because of all these other skills they have. Like there's like this confidence that you will build when you become good at something that is hard. So if you just don't run away from this like hard thing, like all of a sudden one day, because of your persistence, like you're not going to suck at it anymore. And you're going to be able to see things that other people don't see so quickly, because of how many times you've been burned by the same stuff and different things. And I always encourage people, like, if there's another new piece of hardware you've never touched, there's always more. So have you tried that protocol? Have you tried that kind of sensor? Have you seen these new versions of this? Like, can you make it talk to your PLC? Because there's no way that you personally can have made every type of sensor or every PLC type talk to every other PLC type. There's just stuff that you can just keep like fighting and learning and fighting and learning, and you're going to get like confidence from that, and also from the job. And that's why field work is so important, because if you don't go get field work, you're never going to get that confidence ever. So you need to be very uncomfortable all the time before one day you're like, I can do this. Like, I'm still here. Like, why do these people keep paying me to do this? And it's because you're good. Like, but you just don't leave. Like, a lot of people leave. People are telling them that they're not going to cut it. People are going to be negative. Like, and there's people are thinking that you're competition. There's definitely like people that don't want you to make it, but like, you can leave other jobs. I've met so many people who were like, this one person at my one job like made me quit wanting to be that. But like, they left, and like, then that person's not there. Like, don't let them ruin everything for you because they ruined that job. Get another job. Quit your job. Like, or maybe, or find.
It's not like we don't have availability for other options right now. The whole about your skills is so it's not going to be that hard for you to find more. It's companies that environment, there are companies out there that bring you on board and teach you this to be a better practice for them.
They have the companies with strategies to keep people. Like, go there.
And I think what's so exciting too about what we do is about the advances of technology and how automation is accurate. The technology is always going to be there in front of us. So it's never the same with consistent problem solving. Anyone who is solving problems and getting satisfaction with that is really important the type of work that we do. We have Amber on because I know him as things like I don't know. I'm here and that's really sorry to hear it. PLC background, yeah.
Yes, I have 3.
So we recently partnered with Meaghan Ziemba to I also love programming. She is a great course as well and engineering manufacturing. And we both decided I want to give team up into it because I have a background together to talk more about but how did those conversations start and why did you decide to say, hey, we're going to start this podcast?
Sure. I'm trying to remember, because we have a lot of the same, we know a lot of the same people. And then we started talking, and she's just so business savvy, and like, I'm so in the controllers that we're just like the team that's meant to be. Like, and she is so technical too, but like, I'm not like, I know I have my own business, but like, I'm not as like, I don't know, pit bullish, like as a like business person. And like, I just feel like being on her team is like, I don't know, badass. And so she approached me. I wanted to do something like Automation Ladies, but this was Nikki's idea. Like, she was just like, I want to do this. Do you want to do this with me? And I was like, yes. So That's kind
Well,
of there.
I'm so excited to see some more of the stuff. You've already released several episodes, and you've had a pretty good lineup of stellar guests on there already. So I'm excited to see that continue to grow. And I'm really super sad that I can't meet you both in person or automate.
We will meet. We're
Yeah,
going to
we
meet.
have to do it. That's gonna happen. But yeah, so I'm really excited to see what you post around that show because I feel like you see especially are going to inspire so many other generations to come hop on in the space because it's just such a great space and it's doing so much fun and I'm a little envious that I'm just a writer, but it's exciting to see people grow, especially women in the space because I've heard so many stories where, women are just like, yeah, I was never guided in this direction and fell into it by accident. And I feel like it's giving away for that next generation to be purposeful and women people to really happen. So it's great to see you. And then you have Mr. Live Badass, right? You guys can make something next time.
I love you,
So
Jackie.
aside from Automate, what do you have coming up that you want to mention about? In addition to Automate? What are some of the things that
So
you're excited
we
about?
we're taking our sweet time, I know, but we are going to put our shows out. And on top of that, like some of the conversations we've been having are so amazing. I know I keep saying that and like we don't put them out, but like we're really having them and we're really editing them and they're really going to come out and they're really, really good conversations with amazing people that just didn't quit. Like that's my favorite part about most of this is just like, oh my God, like I half the time I just want to cry because these people just don't want to quit. And so we got lots of really good stories coming. We also are trying to work with, and we already have a couple like takers of getting you guys like hardware and or training sessions for free. So it's like our followers, like we're trying to get with like robot companies. We're trying to get with uh, like Rockwell and Siemens. And actually, we're already working with Scan Time Automation. They're out of England and they do Siemens and Allen Bradley tutorials. So like they'll teach like Studio 5000 or TIA Portal. And so we actually are going to be able to give away one of those classes for free to our to one of our followers. And like that's kind of like we're planning on building up a lot more of that action where we are kind of just like showcasing like where can you go learn this stuff. So we want to work with like college mechatronics programs like where so we can promote like where should you go learn to do this job because we want you here and we want you now.
You also recently announced in the post that you're looking to see
What? No, sorry, I didn't hear that one.
you also recently announced that you're looking for key interns. How's
Oh
that
yes,
first one for you?
yes, so that's actually now going to be 3 interns because I'm gonna I hired two. One is Mariam from Nigeria, and the other is Lagan from India. And I'm gonna do a local because I need someone to actually come wire stuff too. So I'm gonna find someone here, and actually maybe it will be 4, but no more than 4.
I think
But
that's
yeah,
really cool.
I'm still looking for the local one. Um,
Okay.
and then
So
the internships will only be like 3 months, and then I'm gonna do it again. So I'm just gonna like continue having interns. So that I don't know, it's just like sharing, right, a piece of the pie.
yeah, are these paid interns?
Yes,
See, and that's great. That's
yes.
what hands-on experience. So that's what probably leads to my last question. One of my last questions. So, what is your biggest task for our audience and the people who are listening in today? If you have one.
What is my biggest ask of what?
Of our audience. So, if you had one ask that you wanted or a
Oh,
challenge for our audience, what would that be?
I would ask that you teach your daughters the same as you teach your sons.
Love that. That's super cool. Well, Ellie, I just I want to thank you again for your time today. It was really fun having a chat with you. I can't wait to have you with me back again to talk more about automation and some of the things that you're going to work on. I do want to track the journey with the interns. So if you want to come on later with them as well too, I think that would be fun. But
That
before I let you
they would be so down. Okay.
But before I let you go, how can people reach you and learn more about what you do or get in touch with you if they need help with their
Yeah.
computers and stuff?
So I my LinkedIn page is like my most active page to engage me with, and then follow Automation Ladies, and also I have a website, but through LinkedIn is the best, most active place that I put like content out. Um, so follow me there, and you can reach me there too.
Great. Well, thank you, Allie, for taking time. And to all those who came on today, thank you, and I hope you have a great weekend. And please come back next week for another episode of Mavens of Manufacturing.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you.
This episode of Mavens has been sponsored by Fresh Horizons Group. Fresh Horizons Group is a family-run company that was founded on the premise of helping organizations and businesses better tell their story through high-quality branded apparel and promotional items. Freshen up your brand by contacting Fresh Horizons today at freshhorizonsgroup.com.